Welcome back, everybody. Just Mike here. Today we're gonna maybe work on an anniversary clock. Let me show you the clock. This is the clock. It's stuck full of tape, which is in so many words good because this way the glass doesn't get separated from here. And if you ever been to GW, people take parts, they move them around, and so it's nice to have it all together. This is a pretty big one, or at least the dome is, but measured from the bottom, we're about 12.5 inches tall to the top of this. And this clock, let me show you what the original price was. $34.99. Obviously, we got it a little bit cheaper. And let me go ahead and get this tape off and we'll see what this clock even is. As I was taking the tape off, I didn't ever look, but on here, it's KOMA. They figure it's 1950. They have the plate, which I'm not sure why you need that. Although they might have got this out of the book. And the spring wire is says 0.00. I do believe that's a 3.5. So the spring wire is still on here, so we're going to try it out. But otherwise, I have to. I'll check in the book to make sure this is right. But otherwise, it is a 35. This is not a 35, this is a 23. But that's the way you figure out, or when you order them, this brand, that's how they come out. Anyway, let me finish taking this tape off of here. So far, it's not coming out too bad, but I do have some stickiness I gotta clean up. So we also have the key that's been taped on the inside. So I've heard WD-40 will help take off, let's call it the stickiness or whatever. I haven't tried it, but if that doesn't work, I'll use some kind of a thinner to try to get that off of there. The stickiness is what I guess I'm saying. So I've had this running for approximately 2 days now, and it's keeping time, and if anything I might have to slow it down a little bit. I didn't do any oiling to it. The only thing I did was put the pendulum on and level it the best I could. I got coins underneath there because I only have 2 feet. I need 1 more foot, and so I'm going to have to order another foot for this clock. Anyway, just so this isn't such a short video, because you know I love long videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that pendulum off so it's not beating around. And this dead looking bottom here, because this is the 1950s, they will naturally tarnish, and I'm going to try to shine that up to look like brand new. Also, my guess is this here dome moves around here, and it might be the original, but you can see it's got what I'll call a lot of play, and I'm just curious whether this is the original dome or if that was natural back then, because to me it looks like it's got too much space, let's say all the way around. I want to say this is the original dome because we also have these chips here, and what they're caused by is possibly when they took it off and setting it down a little bit too rough. Could be because they're setting it down on here too rough. It could have had just a little bit of which I don't feel it here. So there's something that it caught to chip. So be careful with your glasses too. for your dome or your dome. Anyway, let's check out cleaning this. Let me get that pendulum off there and show you what I'm going to use. So these are the different products I'm going to use. Normally, if this frame has a heavy lacquer or whatever over the brass to protect it, it yellows, but if it is really heavy, Mother's doesn't cut it very well. It's Mother's mag and aluminum polish. It does polish brass quite well to a mere shine, but if the lacquer is thick on there, this here is a better cutter to get the job done sooner. And I will admit, I don't like polishing. I want it done as quick as possible, and this is a very quick one if this one doesn't work. Once it's polished, you got your choice. You have this Renaissance, it's a polish and a wax, and if you were to wax this thing here, you wax it and let it dry, and it's supposed to give a what do they call it, eggshell coat or whatever, so that way your fingerprints don't show up in the brass and whatnot. There's also another product, let me see if I have it. This is a lacquer for brass. This one here I bought gloss because I bought it mainly for this anniversary clock, not just this one, but anniversary clocks. And this is supposedly the best you can get. I had to order this one online. I don't know if a actual paint store would carry something like this, or if it's just easier like most people do, they order everything online anymore. This one here happens to be a M103-0500. And I should probably use this on there. The only thing is I don't really want to do the base here. I just want to do the lower part of the base. This is scratched up, and there's a chance I might just give up and do that too. But my main concern is where this glass sits on down. So it seems to be taking too long, in my opinion. Let me break out the other one. I'm using my fingernail down in there to get into that groove. Cracks and stress cracks in here because they smash this to make a form, and in time I've noticed that some of these just start cracking because they had that stress when it was made. I found when it gets black, need to get a clean area because it seems to not have as good of a cutting when your rag is that dirty. So there you go. When you're wiping this down, your cloth will start turning pretty black. You need to keep changing the cloth until you end up with a clean cloth that when you rub on here, it doesn't let go of any much more blackness, and that's where you're going to pick up your real shine. So there you go, from that to this dead look. Which do you prefer? And like I said, I was not wanting to do this, but there's a chance I might go ahead because it does have a lot of scratches on here, and it would dress that up. And if I'm going to do this, normally I take all of this stuff off so I have a nice flat surface that I'm not having to work around the legs. So here I wanted to show this lower half has been done with semi-chrome. This here hasn't been touched yet. I decided to go ahead and do it because it's so dull and scratchy, and if you're gonna, this isn't shine, but if you're gonna start shining this up over here, why not make it match? And being as I'm going this far, I'll probably go ahead and put one coat of the clear gloss spray on here, and we'll see what this looks like. Right now it's got these fine scratches, and I was thinking about using the mothers on it after I get this done and see if those will come out. There's a possibility spraying that lacquer finish over here, possibly those will hide, but we'll show you what they look like before I spray this thing. Just semi-chrome. I know that some of these scratches are from my rag that is too scratchy. Also, it's just a washcloth. But I'm going to go ahead and try mothers just on the front of the top of this and see if we can shine those out of there. See the scratches in here, but they're not as bad. And instead of using that washcloth with the cleaner on it, after I lightly wiped it off, I used what do they call these cloths that don't leave lint and whatnot. I carefully wiped it off gently, and it seemed to remove some of the scratches. But like I say, I do plan on using that lacquer spray on here and give it a seal, so that way I don't have to use the wax, the Renaissance wax, because that way this base will be sealed. Not the clock itself, but the base. Well, it looks better than what it did. It's too bad that crack in the metal, the stress crack, is in the front, but we do have a nice brass shine to it. This does have the scratches look in it still, and so if you're going to do this and if you don't like those scratches before you put a finish on it, try to buff those out more with something to make it shine. Possibly I didn't use mothers on here, or maybe I did, I can't remember, but I was using kind of a rough old washcloth. It's not very soft, and so that might have caused the scratches. Anyway, now to put the movement back on here. So I don't know what I was thinking. This is the back, and this is where that stress crack is. And so on the front of the clock, I got the best of the look. Like I say, now it looks brand new because we've redone this, so it's all pretty close to back to being original. And of course I use this on the base of the clock only. I didn't worry about trying to shine up, clean up, or whatever, any of this here. In which these do have what I'd consider tarnish on them. But the base and this here is the main thing I want the eye to focus on. Now to clean out this stickiness from the tape they had on here. I've heard WD-40 will do it, so I'm going to try WD-40 before I use anything else. And of course, a paper towel. So it's wonderful that this clock still had its spring in it and it was still good. I didn't even oil this clock. The only thing I did was hang that back on there. I cleaned the stand or polished it and then sprayed it with the lacquer. And this glass, as you remember, it had the key taped inside and all the tape on the outside. It was terrible to try to clean off, and normally I like to clean something quick, kind of like a weed burner where you take it along the driveway and it's done. This here, the WD-40 worked well, and then I tried some of the, what do they call this here? I tried some of this denatured alcohol, and that help strip it or thin it, but what was odd is the tape didn't necessarily want to stick to the paper towel. So after I got it all thinned down, then I went back with WD-40 and the paper towel, and that seemed to do a pretty good job on it. And also, you can feel, but not quite, because you're dealing with glass, so having the paper towel inside where the clock is, then you can see which side you missed on the stickiness, whether it's on the outside or the inside. So that helped quite a bit. But I used WD-40 all over it again, and then I used glass cleaner to clean the inside and out, and now it's a beautiful clock again. So it is nice to get this thing, let's say, going again. Evidently, someone got tired of the clock and just brought it in. Whether someone passed on and the kids didn't want it or what, I don't know. But it was wonderful to get it as far as I'm concerned, even if I got it for the price I showed at the beginning of the video. Anyway, now that the bottom, the platform, is all shined up, it looks like a brand new clock again, even though sometimes that antique look is kind of cool to keep. I didn't want it though. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe. And why? Because it's free. And check out these other guys on here to check out their videos and possibly subscribe to them too. Until next time, God bless.